West Ham did indeed get the win last night, 1-0 over Watford. To be honest, at one point, it really didn't look like we were going to score. It was a game that lacked creativity. We lacked movement. It was quite a tepid performance, if we're honest. I think coming out of the game last night, I was very much thinking, well, look, at the end of the day, the result's more important than the performance. But I am concerned a little bit about the manner in which West Ham are approaching these games and the lack of creativity, ingenuity, anything different from what we've seen. And I wonder whether that is because the squad is feeling tired, not only physically, and maybe you can excuse that because of the break, but mentally in terms of ideas. Of course, a big talking point coming into this was the Kurt Suma issue. Again, it's absolutely disgusting. It really is. I was shocked when I saw the video. I'm still disgusted by it. Again, I was very surprised that he was allowed to play last night. I really did think that the club would prevent him from doing so. And I thought he should be removed from the squad. It didn't happen. He did play. And look, West Ham, we dominated the ball, but I really felt that we weren't incisive. And credit to Watford to a degree. I do feel that their 4-4-2, where it was situated, it was very much felt like the two centre forwards were pressing on Souček and Rice. It became difficult for them to progress the ball. Of course, it meant that West Ham would therefore have to try and play through the lines a little bit. And then you get to your attacking four, and it was very much disjointed. It really felt at times that obviously Bowen was trying to get involved. I think West Ham wanted to build in wide areas. Those phases of plays, those transitions in wide areas didn't work. Misplaced passes, poor in possession. It didn't allow us to get our fullbacks further forward. We never really held the ball in dangerous areas long enough to cause Watford issues, to ask them to commit. And I wouldn't say it was comfortable for them, but their shape was really hurting us. And we were finding it very difficult to come up with anything else. Bowen had an opportunity in which he's come off the right-hand side and he's played it to Ben Rama. And that's exactly what West Ham needed to commit Watford bodies, to get them to press up against us. Ben Rama's position was good. And in fairness to him, I was saying fairness to him, actually. I don't think he had a great game, but those were the positions that he needed to pick up. And it's not just Ben Rama. I completely understand him coming off. And I did feel that it was the right decision because of what Lanzini could offer and what he did offer in the end. But you can look at Antonio, and a bit split on this because I do think he was poor in possession. I think he was absent for large periods of the game. And that's where he needs to work harder, and that those attacking four need to work harder off the ball to drop into positions where they're going to cause Watford discomfort, to collect the ball, to drive. We don't do that enough against low block teams, and it becomes frustrating. The longer the game's on, I don't think West Ham were good to defend against Watford's transition either. They had a couple of chances. Dennis obviously on the counter, Josh King, and we mitigated it. We dealt with it relatively well, albeit it did feel like obviously Watford had the chance to really hurt us. Second half, I'm trying to stretch this analysis out because, believe me, it was quite difficult. I think second half, from what I observed anyway, I think West Ham wanted to press slightly higher in wider areas. It became at times, or it felt certainly that Bowen and Fornals were pressing on them. And it just gave them something different to think about. It didn't allow Watford to get on the ball, to get possession. They had spells in the first half where they were able to do that and advance. I don't think Moyes wanted to allow that. I don't think necessarily it resolved the issue of being incisive and creating space. And West Ham was still very much limited to playing horizontally, playing in wide areas and looking for the ball over. But just because of how well schooled this Watford team are already, it became very difficult. So the obvious solution in that situation is to try and play through the lines. And Lanzini was Lanzini was one component of it. I think I like the idea of having Fornals and Lanzini on the pitch at the same time because of how they operate in central areas, because of their intelligence in linking up play. I think they find the right positions. They're dropping deep, but they're also committing and able to get further forward. And I think that gave Watford problems. You know, do they sit back in their midfield, or do they go and try and press us? And we see for the goal, obviously, with Lanzini coming in short, picking the ball up and playing straight through to Jarrod Bowen. And that is, of course, the second component in this. The quality of Jarrod Bowen for me was on show, not just in terms of his personal quality, ability to drive with the ball, his vision as well in finding Ben Rama first half, but the position to come off of that right-hand side was really astute. And it's exactly what West Ham needed to do. I'm not sure whether it was instruction or whether it was Bowen individually as a player, but I felt that him dropping deeper, coming into and occupying the number 10 really was clever play, clever positional play. And like I say, of course, it was an error for the goal on the Watford perspective, but West Ham put themselves into that position. We found that chance and we found that opportunity. To be honest, I think West Ham looked to control possession, given that we weren't finding much joy in an attacking sense in their final third. But Bowen had a chance that Foster got down to, and it was a brilliant save from my angle, to be honest. I thought it was going in. And look, it is disappointing at the minute because it does feel very much like West Ham are reliant on performances and individual moments. And again, that feels like I'm saying that more and more regularly. Even when we played Watford away in the previous occasion, whilst defensively there were problems, offensively the movement of the front four was fantastic. And West Ham need to get back to that space. And even now, even probably for the last 2 months or so, West Ham, I don't feel are we don't play teams, and I feel very much like we're doing a job on them. We had moments like that last season, and this season at the minute we are relying on certain things and certain occasions happening. And like I said earlier in the video, it could be down to fatigue, mentally, physically. And of course, people will look back to the transfer window, and I agree, an injection of a different type of player to bring on a different game plan would have made the difference. But I think that, again, like I said, the result is the most important thing. 3 points at this stage of the season, given the teams in and around us. I think it's good for momentum going into Leicester on Sunday. And there is, I always say it, I shouldn't say it, there is an opportunity, of course there is, to play a Leicester team, but a Leicester team out of form, with problems defensively from set pieces that West Ham can look to exploit. It'll be a different type of game. And I think the one thing I would say about Leicester is West Ham, or typically with Moyes, he gets his game plan very much spot on against them and has done so away from home last season. Albeit he did it at home, he got a win this season, very, very impressive at home. So I'm hoping to see a repeat of that. And I'm sure we'll see personnel changes as well. If I'm honest, I wonder whether Lanzini will start in that game. You may look to Vlasic in certain instances to commit their fullbacks, or maybe someone that can be a little bit more direct and getting in behind and exploiting the space. So we'll see. Again, I'm looking forward to it. Take care. Appreciate it. Wasn't a very interesting video at the minute. It's all a bit crazy with what's going on in the minute. And to be honest, I couldn't believe that I put the preview out and the news about Zuma dropped. It was very sudden and again, very shocking. So hopefully we'll see more of a resolution towards that in the coming days. Of course, we're seeing a little bit of movement from West Ham and the RSPCA at the minute. Check out the Patreon account in the description below. Of course, check out the West Ham Way website. Drop a like on the video if you do enjoy it. I'll be back for a preview of the Leicester game Saturday morning. Try not to miss it. If you do, don't worry about it. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.